Welcome back as we continue our special about the legalization of recreational marijuana and its impact on the town of Northampton, Massachusetts. In this segment, we follow the money and take a closer look at how much is being raked in and how it's being spent.
Just have your IDs ready for them inside.
It's 8 a.m. on a Monday morning at NETA, New England Treatment Access, currently the only recreational or adult use marijuana dispensary in Northampton, Massachusetts. 8 a.m. and there were already 15 people in line waiting for it to open. Around lunchtime Tuesday, the lines were even longer. Plus, all the people lined up inside the dispensary are meeting with patient service associates. And almost everyone is there to buy.
Total comes to $169.30.
NETA offers a wide range of products and price points.
I'll also need 1-to-1 CBD cubes.
Individual joints sell at NETA for $12 a pop. Ounces of marijuana are going for $300. And with so many different forms of cannabis for sale, we saw customer after customer plunk down hundreds of dollars without ever reaching the state or NETA's quantity limits.
You have a sext?
NETA is privately owned and its employees could not share sales or revenue totals, but we know that each sale comes with a 20% sales tax in Massachusetts. 17% goes to the state, 3% goes to the city. The money is added up quarterly.
On the first 2 quarters, it was a little over $1 million.
Which means by our estimate, NETA's Northampton dispensary, one of 2 it runs in the state, did about $40 million worth of sales in just its first half year in the adult use business. The company describes its process as seed to sale, which means
every single thing that we sell, we've made or baked or distilled ourselves.
To do that, NETA employs 700 people across Massachusetts at their grow and processing sites and their 2 dispensaries.
So there are people who are growers. There are people who trim the flower. There are people who make it into distillate. There are bakers.
Full-time employees work 30 hours a week and make well above minimum wage.
Most of our employees that you're seeing here are full-time employees. And health benefits are available, dental benefits are available. Even though we're a startup, we're pretty soon looking forward to a 401k. People are really interested in this as their field.
NETA also does business with a slew of other businesses. The people who make what NETA needs to grow cannabis, from the lights and planters to irrigation and watering systems. That also includes the companies that make their vaporizer cartridges, the chocolate they infuse with cannabis, the papers they use for their joints, and all the packaging materials. Multiply that by all the dispensaries in the state, and it's clear an industry is forming, an industry both welcomed and needed.
Many of the industries in Western Mass, we had enormous mills that made paper. You know, GE was here, and now instead of being empty mills, they're starting to be filled with plants growing.
And while adult use sales are still too new to know for sure, it seems like NETA's customers who come from other states are also boosting the city's bottom line.
In the same quarter that adult use marijuana sales began, we saw an increase of 10% in our meals tax revenue that quarter over the previous year.
Overall, our economy is up, and our sales tax rate is 5% more than it was a year ago. Our hotel rates are up 7% versus a year ago, and we're beating the national average.
The biggest boost has been to businesses near the dispensary, even those that sell their own adult products.
Business has definitely increased. We can definitely see an increase in sales, and overall just steady, and yeah, they've been great neighbors.
Police officers have also benefited. NETA hires off-duty cops to help with the traffic.
They like being able to work extra hours and have extra money. I mean, that's a great perk.
Even the local newspaper has been able to cash in.
We get rental income from NETA for utilization of our parking lot.
But it's not universal. Some businesses near the dispensary say not much has changed. And while we know restaurants in the downtown area, a little over a mile away, are overall doing more business, for other downtown shops, the anticipated marijuana boom has been both hit.
We certainly have seen business increase.
It did increase our business up by a little bit.
And miss.
It's a little disappointing. I did think we'd have more of an uptick.
There hasn't been a big noticeable change.
As for the city's bottom line, there has been a big change, even though it's not noticeable yet. Remember how much the mayor said Northampton had already made in sales taxes in just the first 6 months of adult use marijuana?
The first quarter was about $450,000, and the second quarter was, again, in that same range.
For the city, that $1 million already collected from cannabis sales equals 1% of its annual $100 million budget.
It's definitely new money, and it's new money that's not being collected on property taxes, which is a good thing.
In addition to delaying a big planned property tax increase for at least a year, the marijuana money is going into the city's general fund.
It's going to be funding schools, it's going to be funding public safety, public works, all the things that function as part of our general fund budget.
There's more. The city and NETA also agreed on a 5-year host community agreement in which NETA gives Northampton an additional 3% of all sales, earmarked to offset any costs the city faces for having them there.
What's the best way to apply that to impacts specifically related to this industry, like roads and sidewalks and pedestrian safety and those kinds of improvements, and potentially substance abuse, responsible use kinds of public health initiatives as well.
And there could soon be more. Another dispensary already has an option on a downtown storefront and is in the licensing process. And the city's not capping how many dispensaries can come to town.
No one ever asked me about, should the city put its own cap on the number of alcohol establishments. No one has said, do we want to put a cap on tobacco establishments, which I believe those are the number 1 and number 3 leading causes of preventable death in the United States.
Even as other communities in the state refuse to accept even one dispensary.
I jokingly encouraged some of my fellow mayors and leaders in other communities to go right ahead and ban it. That I'm happy as many who want to ban it as possible. We will take the revenue.
Up next, I take a stroll around town to see whether or not marijuana has become a quality of life problem or a nuisance for the residents of Northampton.